Hey everybody, it's me. It's Tuesday, and I missed last week, and I'm very sorry about that. But here I am this Tuesday. I have a bit of a sore throat. Well, not a sore throat. I have a scratchy voice right now because I was working at the zoo doing my rides thing, and I have to tell everybody what the rules of the rides are. You know, don't swing or swing around, don't hop out of the seat while the ride's still moving, keep your seatbelt buckled, blah 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 blah. But it was very busy this weekend and also very cold, and so between yelling very loudly and inhaling lots of cold air, I scratched up my voice, and now it's all gone. So sorry about the voice thing, sorry about missing last week, but I'm back this week, still kind of wearing my Bath & Body Works stuff, but here I am. Beanie Baby this week is Fuzz, who is ridiculously soft, and considering what I'm going to be talking about, like which characters today, it's actually kind of ironically appropriate, the Fuzz. There will be no edits on this video because I want to get this up quickly as possible before Glee comes on, so here we go. I think it's just as well that I neglected to do my video last week and ended up doing the characters and plotting posts together, because for me they do kind of go hand in hand. I discover the most about my characters through plotting, by working out what happens in the story and what happened to the characters before the main story starts. I figure out more about the characters. I believe that we are shaped equal parts by genetics, environment, and also largely by our choices. So the theme of characters, I guess, could be the genetics aspect, who we are born as, and what I design, what I design my characters to be. And plotting could be the environmental aspect, which would be what happens to my characters in the story and the choices they make. When I design characters, I begin mostly by feeling them out. I write little odds and ends involving the characters, little bits of the story, the hypothetical story that come to mind, and I see what comes out. And then I try to get into the characters' heads and figure out why they do what they do, or why they feel what they feel, or if the character that I'm unearthing in my mind would have even done or felt that at all. Okay. I'm trying. Once I get a feel for the character, I make a Word file and start writing up lists that resemble character profiles on roleplay forums. The basics I begin with are name, age, sex, physical appearance, so I can have an image in my head, and their history and personality. Depending on the story, this is not going to go well. Depending on the story, the character might also have their race, magical power, occupation, what have you, listed as well. I keep going back to the list and adding to it or editing it as I discover more about the characters and I structure more of the story. Who the characters are has a lot to do with the kind of story I can create. If the characters don't fit the circumstances I put them in, or wouldn't act in a manner that would create the kind of tension I'm looking for, I have to either edit the story or edit the characters. For example, right now I'm working on the story that I read about a week or so ago, Crooked. The two main characters are Danny, whose full name is Daniel Callahan, that came up recently, and the kid who was the unnamed prostitute at that point, whose name is later revealed to be James. I haven't yet selected a last name for him. I think I'm looking for something symbolic, but not like stupid symbolic, like James Crow. And I kind of wanted to go with James Crown, and then I realized that was from Shadow of the Templar. It was one of the aliases of Jeremy Archer, and I can't copy that because I heard it so much, so I have to keep thinking. My original intent for Danny's character was for him to be a cop of good morals, but flexible interpretations of morality and the law. However, the more I work with the story and research police methods and procedure, the more I want to make him into a character with a very strong point of view and a sense of morality and loyalty. I don't yet know if by the end of the first book his character will stay with the police force that he's starting out with, or join the vigilante group he's going to get tangled up with, which is known as Smoke and Headlights. But I have decided that whichever he chooses, it has to be because he believes it to be the ultimately correct choice, not simply the best option available. Danny is the kind of character who really believes in his work, believes in the pursuit of justice, and feels connected to the people whom he helps. Danny's character has gone from one of helpless disconnect to strong, centered, and compassionate. James, on the other hand, and I'm going to try and make this short, started off as just a prostitute, but as I wrote more freehand text about him, I wanted to make him a more powerful character. I wanted him to be driven by something substantial and pivotal. So he's going to have a place in the vigilante group Smoke and Headlights. I don't quite know what yet. I don't know if he's going to have quite the same place in the group that I was planning for Danny, but you know, I'll see, depending on how the development goes. If Danny and James end the story on opposite sides of the law but in pursuit of the same ideal, that would be my ideal for the story, because that would create the kind of tension I'm looking for. Because whenever I write a story, I think a lot of times I really like to write characters that are sort of either on opposite sides of the same issue or on the same side of the same issue but have different ideas of how to achieve that, what they want to achieve. I find that I prefer that tension because I really like the kind of dialogue that you can get out of characters. And I also like the fact that it sort of preserves a very unique point of view for each character, that they're not like in total agreement on everything, because I think that's just completely dull. So I really like to have characters who agree on some things but also respectfully disagree on a lot of things. So now I'm working on constructing a story scenario that will allow me to do that. Since I'm possibly planning on working drug smuggling into the second book, which I have is going to be titled Bent. I'm thinking of like other books and I have this one finished. It's so sad. And since I've always been morbidly drawn to books, TV shows, movies, and documentaries about sex crimes and human trafficking, I'm heavily considering having Crooked center around a human trafficking ring that emerges in downtown, which is the city/district where Crooked mostly takes place. Sex crimes are some of the most horrifying crimes there are, which I think would make it all the more satisfying to write about squashing a human trafficking ring into paste. And it really would, because that's one thing that I don't want to have in there, and yeah. So, wow, that was pretty short, I guess. That's my process. Characters come, they shape the story, and then the story shapes them. So next week we'll be talking about our research, which is good because it'll spur me to get even further in mine. Right now I think I've mentioned I'm trying to read the book Police Procedure and Investigation, and I guess I can show you. It's this book right here, which I got out of the library originally, and now I have it, and I don't know if you can see, I've been making all sorts of highlights and marks and stuff in it, so I'm trying to really get into that, and I guess I'll have to look up some more specific stuff on human trafficking, which should be buckets of fun, probably also really horrifying. Also, I guess in conclusion, although I've decided not to do NaNoWriMo this year, in favor of working on other projects, not just Crooked, but like other stuff in my life, I do wish everyone who is participating lots of luck. May your word count soar, and may your inspiration fountains never run dry. So good luck, and I'll see you guys next week, next Tuesday. Hopefully I will not forget to do it again, and hopefully my voice will be back. So congrats to me, I got this done. See you guys. Bye.